Good morning. I just wanted to share with you something that stood out to me as I was reading through John 21. And actually, my D group has been reading through the story of the resurrection of Jesus and what happens after he rises from the dead. And in chapter 21, a passage just really stood out to me. And it starts in verse 18, and Jesus is talking to Peter. And he says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, when you were young, you used to dress yourself and walk wherever you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and another will dress you and carry you where you do not want to go." This he said to show by what kind of death he was to glorify God. And after saying this, he said to him, "Follow me." So Jesus is talking to Peter, and he tells him, "Hey, Peter, when you were younger, you could dress like you wanted to dress and go wherever you wanted to go. But there's going to come a day when someone's going to take you, and they're going to take you somewhere that you don't want to go." And he was talking about how Peter one day in the future would be martyred. Now, what happens right after this just stood out to me, and I'll paraphrase it here. Peter, he turns around and he sees another disciple there named John. And he looks at John and he asks Jesus, "What's going to happen to John?" And then Jesus responds to Peter and he says, "If it's my will that John stays alive until I come back, what does it matter to you? Just follow me." And when I read these words, that just really cut me to the heart. Because so often in my life, I'm looking around at what other people are doing. I'm looking around and I'm comparing what they're doing to what I'm doing. I see their calling on their life, and in some instances, I'm like, wow, they have a great calling on their life. Or maybe in other instances, I look how people are struggling, and I compare that to my struggles. Is that person suffering more than me? And you know what? That's the wrong mentality that I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have that mentality. Instead, I should be focused on running the race that God has called me to run. Every single person has a different calling. And that some people are called to be CEOs, some people are called to be doctors, teachers, some people are called to do this, do that. And you know what? I have a calling on my life, and I need to run that race. And just like Jesus told Peter, he said, "Follow me." I need to keep my eyes on Christ and not be so focused on what other people are doing, not be so focused on how other people are suffering as it relates to me suffering. I need to keep my eyes on Jesus Christ. So I hope that this passage encourages you, and I hope that this video encourages you to dive into Scripture every day and hear what God has for you today.